Hey, Dr. Karen Can here. Welcome to another edition of the Spiritual Medicine Digest. And for this week in October 2019, we are being called to heal and integrate all parts of ourselves, our wholeness, meaning that even those parts of us that we consider our dark sides, our shadow sides, need to be fully loved. Yeah, loved and accepted. So for me, my dark side or shadow side that I did not want to own, did not want to integrate, had to do with a number of things. But two of the things I'll share with you is like feeling selfish. In other words, it's actually really easy to tell what you have not fully integrated, healed, and owned in your dark side because you get really defensive when people reflect that back to you. So in the past, I used to get super defensive if someone insinuated that I was lazy or that I was selfish. Those are what were my two triggers. And so what did I do? I tried to fight against that, and I worked myself to exhaustion and adrenal fatigue and fibromyalgia because I did not want to be perceived by another as lazy or selfish. So I had poor boundaries and said yes when I meant no. My body was like, oh my God, please stop, So it's super interesting and important for us to actually recognize and acknowledge that what we hate about another person or cannot stand is something we can't stand about ourselves. And healing that shadow piece is super, super important so we can be fully integrated. Why would you want to make friends with your shadow? Well, let's just put it this way. There's always a light side to every shadow. So example, I was talking about this with some of our healing groups, and transformational telepathy is speaking to someone on the telepathic level about how much you appreciate about them in order to resolve conflict and get a better quality relationship. But they ask, what if that person is a bully? What if that person is a narcissist? How can I possibly appreciate that person and be totally honest about it? And I said, hey, you know what? Take what they do well that maybe you don't do well or you've disowned in yourself and appreciate them for that. So for the narcissist, you might appreciate them for their ability to know exactly what they want and to go out and get it. You might appreciate them for being highly skilled at manipulation and energy manipulation. You might, for example, appreciate them for their skill of pretending, or their skill of the gift of gab, or their skill of being able to hypnotize people into thinking they're the greatest thing on earth, when they're really truly manipulative and bullying, right? So there's always another side. And one of the great books you can read about this is The Dark Side of the Light Chasers. Really, really great book by Debbie Ford, the late Debbie Ford. Well worth your read if you have not read it yet. And also her movie, The Shadow Effect, which I absolutely love. I've watched it many times, cried many times. It's awesome. So this is really about owning all parts of ourselves, including those parts of us that we consider dark or we don't want. And here's the thing, if you don't integrate it, it's sort of like saying, hi, I like my right arm, but I don't like my left arm, so please get rid of it. Like, no, right? Like your left arm has some uses. Maybe it's not your dominant arm, but it's like if you can understand that for every shadow, there is a light side. And if you do not integrate, own, and accept and love the shadow, then that shadow is going to own you. I mean, it is going to manipulate until you pay attention to that. And so I have less and less people reflecting back to me that criticism of being lazy or selfish, because I've accepted that, yeah, there are times that I can be lazy. There's times that I can be selfish, and that is okay because the light side of that is self-care and rest. Something that I've had difficulty, really embodying and following through. So this week, I really want you to heal that. And speaking of the dark side, this was the week of the launch of the Light Warrior Bootcamp 2.0, which we launched on UWealth Revolution Telesummit. And it's all about healing entities and negative energies in the way of love. So if you've been struggling, with, pain, depression, anxiety, other people's stuff, entities, interferences, feeling like you're being sabotaged, that kind of thing, then this is a perfect program for you because it'll bring that love in, and we will show you how to do your own personal clearing for your family and friends, clearing your environment, including your home, schools, whatever. There's a whole protocol for that. Clearing your sleep realms, clearing your electronic devices. And again, we're infusing love, Toppan healing in the most evolved way that we have since the 3 years ago when I launched 1.0, the Light Warrior Bootcamp 1.0. So it includes Ascension 1 and 2, of course, which keep getting upgraded ongoing, but also the training is about how to use Toppan healing at the highest levels for entity related types of clearings in all these different areas. And the cool thing is, because it's a telesummit launch, it is at a special price. Package A is at $147. The regular price for this will be $497. Okay, so after Sunday of this week, we will no longer be selling it for the $147. So if you're interested in working with me live and in the group calls, please register for that ASAP. There's a very limited time before that cart will close. So you can go to uwealthrevolution.com/Karen18. And then you can see some of the live healings and interviews that we did there, as well as get that package A for $147. And if there's anyone you know that might resonate with this kind of work, then also, give them give them the link, and they can join us. And this is going to be one of the few times where I'm going to be doing this class live. So it's going to be 4 live classes. In addition, you're going to get 4 mini master classes all about entities. For example, what kinds of entities there are, what kind of signs and symptoms there are when you have them, what may attract them to you or your family members or your home, and then of course, efficient versus non-efficient entity clearing and the differences between that. So those are going to be extra master classes that are going to be in your student portal, in addition to the Ascension 1, Ascension 2, as well as the live classes and healing trainings. So again, it's uwealthrevolution.com/Karen18. Through Sunday, we'll be at that special price, the $147. So some announcements of this week. Monday's radio show will be with the wonderful Joshua Gray Falcon. And what's really, was it Joshua Falcon Gray? Oops. Sorry, Joshua. Long name, but very cool. I asked him how old he was, and he's like the eldest millennial. It was so funny. Anyway, you know how, if you've been following me for a while, you know how I love the millennials, right? Anyway, so he has this really neat process, quantum theater. He's made some interesting videos as well. And we met at interesting circumstances where he was asking about his this video, and I got this humongously high light score for his video. Had not actually watched it, did not know him at all, but it was interesting. I was like, wow, this is a super high vibrational video, and so high that when you watch that if it's for the highest and greatest good, if you have a hidden entity, it might show up when you watch that video. And that's when you can clear it, when it shows up. It's very interesting. So I thought, well, gee, this is a really interesting guy. I have to have him on my radio show. So he's going to be there live 12 noon, answering some questions for you as well, and also describing what is quantum theater and how can we use this amazing process to heal ourselves, our family, our community. So I just love millennials that are doing this amazing work. So I keep bringing them, onto the show because they are so inspirational for the rest of us. So join us 12 noon Eastern for that, and we will put the link when it's ready underneath this video if you're on YouTube. And if you're on my mailing list at KarenCan.com, we will send you the exact link and the time and the phone numbers, etc., to call in live to ask Joshua a question. Yeah. And just, the other announcement we had, aside from, the UWealth Revolution launch of the Light Warrior Bootcamp 2.0, is just as part of the Light Warrior Bootcamp process, it's very helpful if you learn how to do muscle testing. Not necessary, but very helpful. So what I did was I created a brand new live training class, which is now recorded. It was recorded on the 25th, on Friday. And if you are interested in learning that divine muscle testing technique, we have it on Light Warrior Network as a replay for the next few days. So you can check that out on the Facebook group Light Warrior Network and apply to get in. And then once you're in, you can find that link to get that training. It is a 90-minute full masterclass training on how to do divine muscle testing using your body as an intuitive tool. Great feedback from all the people that were on that day, and very helpful for what we're going to be doing in self-healing. So that's it for this week for the Spiritual Medicine Digest. Thank you so much for tuning in, and until next time, lots of love. Bye for now.